Right, so I'm Bob Whitaker. I'm a journalist from the United States. I've written extensively on psychiatry, and I've written a couple books on the history of psychiatry. And my latest is a book called Anatomy of an Epidemic, which is a book that looked at how psychiatric medications affect people over the long term and how that affects their lives. You know, that book was published about 3 years ago in the United States, and it did stir quite a bit of controversy. And I've sort of been on the road traveling ever since talking about it and talking about, what is science telling us about it in the answer to that question. And increasingly now the book is being translated into other languages. I think this is my 6th trip to Europe in the last 6 months. And so I'm here in Sweden right now because I came over to give a talk in Gothenburg. And then I was asked also to give talks in Malmö, Helsingborg, and now today at this venue in Stockholm. And really, basically, what I'm being asked to do at these conferences is to present data that starts raising questions at the very least about how medications shape long-term outcomes. We're talking about psychiatric medications. Because of course in Sweden you're using these drugs quite a bit more now, especially antidepressants. I think you're beginning to use stimulants to treat, quote, ADHD quite a bit more. And so it's a pressing question. Do antidepressants help people on the whole over the long term? Do stimulants help children grow up and thrive? Profound questions. And really what you find when you look at the science, and you look at the science that's been done over longer periods of time, meant to answer those questions over the last 10, 20, 30, and even 40 years, time and time again, unfortunately, what you find is that this paradigm of care and the widespread use of drugs does not decrease the burden of mental disorder in your society, but actually increases the burden. You see it going up in society after society. And you unfortunately find that antidepressants, for example, are not effective over the long term. They don't beat non-medication strategies in terms of helping people stay well and function well in society. And as far as stimulants, unfortunately, we in the United States have been using them for about 30 years now to treat ADHD, and you find that they just haven't been able to find evidence that these drugs improve outcomes over the long term, i.e. that they help these kids grow up and thrive in school, in social situations, in whatever domain of functioning you want to look at. So that's what the book looks at. It tells a story of science that sort of counters conventional wisdom. And the reason I think I'm being asked to travel to so many countries, including Sweden, is so many countries have embraced this paradigm of care. They've made it mainstream, and in country after country, now they're saying this: well, if these drugs are so helpful, why is the burden of mental illness, does it keep going up and up and up? Something's wrong. And so that's basically why I'm here, to help investigate that question, which I think most people will agree is a very important one.